What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I hope you're all having a very good day today. It is Friday, September 6th, 2019, and I hope you're all having a very good day today. Now, if this is your first time here, please make sure you're subscribed and click the little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. Here on the channel, I talk a lot about comics, movies, and on occasion, even music. And that's something that I'll probably be talking a little bit more about. This evening, in case you've never been here before, I do a live show every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time called the Trailer Park Live. So make sure that you check your local listings, and so you can be tuned in for that. It does get to be a lot of fun. There tends to be a little bit bigger crowd there on Friday evenings as I go over some of the comic books that I pulled for the week, and then I get in and talk about some of the topics and things that have happened throughout the week and interact with you all in the live chats. In case you've never been there before, it is always a good time. You guys, the viewers, are pretty much what makes that show, I guess, the hit or success that it is. And I do thank you all so much for that. I really do greatly appreciate it. And again, thank you all so much for being here on this Friday morning as we head into the weekend. Michelle P, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I hope you're all having a good day as we get ready to head in here to the weekend. And in case you missed yesterday's live stream, I kind of flapped my gums a little bit about Maverick Pilgrim. Welcome to the live stream. Yesterday, I was kind of flapping my gums a little bit, just kind of about the future of Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's something that's been a pretty big topic here in over the past couple of weeks, just shortly going in before D23, we obviously knew that Disney and Sony was, they were kind of in negotiations regarding the future of Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and things like that. In the days leading into D23 a couple of weeks ago, we seen that there was obviously some sort of leaks, a story that leaked out there about the negotiations and how they were not going good, and that was pretty much done. And then we get through the weekend and through the following couple of weeks, and we see it's been getting more and more, and that's the thing I've been trying to talk about as all of this started. Russell Wells Benjamin, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, and again, my name is Trinity. Trinity, in case you guys, I always forget to say that. My name is Trinity, yes. Good morning to all. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, and I was saying when all this news first broke out, I mean, let's wait for something official. All the people, all the reactions and everything out there, people triggered by this news and everything, and I told them just wait it out. Just wait it out. Don't let any of these clickbaity news sites or anything, kind of get you upset over nothing. And now we finally have a little bit more, and it comes out just a little at a time, a little bit more solid evidence that this relationship is pretty much over with. And I've been saying this over the past couple of weeks as well. It's no big deal, guys. It's really no big deal. As we see yesterday, this head of I'm not exactly for sure that he's the head of Sony, but this Tony Versetti, Tommy Versetti, over there at Sony Pictures. And yes, I'm just kidding here. This guy over at it was in an article that was in Variety magazine where they were kind of talking about the future, just Sony and the future of Spider-Man in the MCU, and we finally got even more official words from somebody at Sony and Marvel Studios about this ongoing issue. Now, I've got to say that, like I said, for me, it's not really disappointing. You guys, if you followed me here on the channel long enough, you know that, like, while I do like what we've got out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as far as Spider-Man is concerned, maybe once Sony takes over the character fully and they can. They can begin to produce their own films, and hopefully even some better films as well. Now the thing is better films. What does that mean exactly? Compared to what? Compared to the films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, for me, I think that's probably not too hard to beat. I mean, not to say anything bad about Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, or anything in the MCU, but again, you guys have heard me express my feelings about the Spider-Man that we've had in the MCU. And I think there are definitely improvements that can be made, and also the movies going forward that they can do can be better than what they have done in the past, because Kevin Feige has actually helped them lay down some groundwork, and that's something that they kind of covered in this article, where we see this man talking about, about Sony and Kevin Feige, and having, basically saying, we're proud to work with him, we're happy to work with him. There's really no bad blood here, but Kevin now has a full plate, which is actually true, and that's something I've been trying to say for a while. And I know there's been plenty of other people out there in the YouTube world, and just out there in, multimedia, just in the social atmosphere, I guess you could say, have been kind of saying the same thing too, that they have a full plate over there at Marvel Studios now, that they have all of these characters. Now they don't have control of every single one. Obviously, they don't have Spider-Man and all of his whole cast of villains and people that go along with that, or the Incredible Hulk. Now we do know there's, and I'm sure there's probably others out there kind of mingling out there somewhere, that just out there that we don't know about. I know, like, another big one was Namor. There for a while, there was some big thing with Namor going around, and I honestly don't know enough about that character, as far as who owns the rights or anything like that. It's really of no relevance when it comes to Spider-Man. Now, like I said yesterday, I was talking about how, like, maybe there's going to be one other Spider-Man movie here in the MCU. And because I figured, there's got to be something that was on their contract, stuff that we don't know about, and there very well could be. But I got to say, at this point, and I was even saying this yesterday, I'm willing to admit I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit that I very, very well could be wrong, and I'm pretty sure at this point, once we get some of the words that are, just some of the things that are coming out of this interview, that I am wrong. But there is some things that I did, that, just particular language when people are talking about these things in interviews, where he says, that the doors are closed for now. Okay, that just means that the doors are closed for now. That doesn't necessarily mean that things are off altogether. And another interesting thing that this man brought up in this interview was that, Kevin Feige didn't do all this by himself. They over there at Sony do have, their own staff of great people that can help make these movies possible. And I think he's absolutely right. Now, is it the Spider-Man that everybody's going to want? I doubt it. But then when have we gotten a Spider-Man that everybody wants? I mean, because when it comes to these kinds of things, movies in general, or especially the MCU, and when it comes to these franchises and characters and films and things like that we love, it's not ever going to satisfy anybody. Nobody's ever going to be satisfied with everything out there. It's just not. It's just not how the world works. I mean, if they could satisfy everybody, I mean, heck, I can tell you that would be great. But chances are they can't. They can't. And should they strive to? No, they need to just strive to make the best film that they can. And I think over there at Sony, they've done enough of these films. They've had the character long enough. Now they've probably learned even more from Kevin Feige and kind of what they've done. As time has progressed. And this is something I was talking about the other day, when people are talking and slamming the Sam Raimi films, or even the Mark Webb films that they did regarding the Spider-Man franchise, that, some people, like some of the people that are out there really criticizing these films and saying they're no good, that they're trash and stuff, are probably people who are a lot younger than me, who may have been toddlers, who may have been children, who may not have been as old, or had the appreciation for film or anything quite the same as I do. I was a child of the '70s. I was born in the '70s, raised through the '80s and '90s, and now here we are. Yeah, and the people like me, sometimes we get out here on social media or just YouTube or any of these other different things and think like, man, what is this? What is this crazy new world that we live in? This isn't. It's not quite the world that I grew up in, and that's okay, because like, times change, things change, people change, the world changes, everything kind of evolves, and hopefully for the better. And now that's what I have to say about that is, like, the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans didn't satisfy everybody. The Mark Webb films didn't satisfy everybody. The MCU movies didn't satisfy everybody, and now we're gonna move forward into a new, maybe not a new iteration of Spider-Man, but a new, just maybe a slightly different version of Spider-Man than we have had in the past. And I've got to say, altogether, I'm not really upset about it at all. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about this news. I mean, really, it's a little more final, if you ask me. I mean, is it the last word that we're going to hear about any of these negotiations or anything like that? Is this the last that we're going to see of Spider-Man in the MCU or anything? I honestly don't really know. And who really does, as long as these negotiations are ongoing, and hopefully they are negotiations that will continue to go on. Because I think all of us kind of want to see Spider-Man do good, and obviously he is a great character and can do good standalone on his own. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just if you ask me. I'm gonna let's see. I've been seeing you around in other channels. Yeah, Maverick Pilgrim is around quite a bit. I know. I think I came across him either on. I'm pretty sure it was Den of Nerds. The Den of Nerds. I mean, if you're here on my channel, chances are maybe you've heard of them because I flap my gums about them quite a bit. They are a channel that I definitely love. Josh over there at the Den of Nerds is doing an awesome job creating a great community of nerds. When it comes to these like the MCU, the Marvel content and the Star Wars content, done an absolutely great job. A true inspiration, if you ask me, for any YouTubers out there or any other kind of content creators. I remember when I started following them, and I swear it's maybe barely been about a year that I've been following them on YouTube, and I want to say they were last year, God, what were they at? Maybe 25,000, 30,000 subscribers. And now look at them. I mean, they're inching closer. They're almost to the 100K subscriber mark. And I'm absolutely proud of Josh and the Den of Nerds and everything that they have done over there. Great channel. And the one thing I definitely like about that channel is, like I said, he's growing a great community of nerds over there. You can go watch any one of their videos. Get down into the comments section, see the people interacting. You can see the regulars like a Maverick Pilgrim, like a Russell Wells Benjamin, like myself, who are on there interacting quite often. And what you see in there is, you don't see, obviously, you see people upset by the situations, or maybe some of the things that the news is talking about, but you never really see anybody that's out of line like you see on some of the other channels where people are just completely upset, and who are there just being nasty and rude and all of those kinds of things. And that's a true testament to what Josh and the Den of Nerds have been doing, growing over there. And I think not only does that show in their comment section, but that shows in their channel growth as well. So if you guys haven't heard of the Den of Nerds, please, I urge you, go check out their content, and leave comments in the comment section. Let them know what you think about their content. Josh is always out there. He's reading through his comments. He's doing everything he can to improve his content, and they've done a phenomenal job. And they look to us, the community, the viewers out there, to help improve their content, just like any great content creator does. Now, the other important thing is they really really focus on their Patreon supporters, and I am a proud Patreon supporter of the Den of Nerds. Like I said, I absolutely love the channel, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into more here. I see we got a few more people joining us here. Aggressively Relaxing, welcome to the live stream. Aggressively Relaxing says, next Sony's next big films are Angry Birds 2. Yeah. The Grudge's 17th sequel. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Jump Street sequel. Are they doing another Jump Street sequel after all? I think they should. I liked the 21 and 22 Jump Street. I thought they were a pretty funny movie. And Charlie's Angel reboot. Now the Charlie's Angel reboot, I gotta say, like I watched the trailer and everything on that, and I was just like, it didn't look. It looked okay. I didn't. It wasn't anything that really got me and really pulled me in or anything. Like, you watch it, like, the Charlie's Angels reboot they did back in the early 2000s. I'm not the biggest fan of all the people that are in that movie, of all the ladies in that movie, but the movie was great. It was funny. Had a lot of jokes. It was comical. It was a good movie. And I hate to say that, I just don't think that this new version of Charlie's Angels is going to be anywhere as good as that. And plus, also, I mean, I don't know a whole lot of the actresses in this movie, but they just don't seem to be the same caliber of people that were in those Charlie's Angels movies back in the early 2000s. But we can always hope for the best. Every time I head to the theater or see a new movie coming out, the one thing I always do is hope for the best. Hopefully, they make a good movie. Hopefully, they can make something that is at least enjoyable, or at least fun to watch. And he says, I cannot wait to see this quality studio bring back Sony Magic back to the character. I see what you're doing there, Aggressively Relaxing. I see what you're doing there. You're making me laugh, because that's funny. Now the thing is obviously, the reason I'll put some trust into Sony, in this sense, is they knew in the first place that this is a big character and he's a very bankable character, and they could make a lot of money off. I mean, Spider-Man is a cash cow. Um, Now the reason that I think they will focus on doing a great job with this, with their Spider-Man franchise going forward, is because I mean they've had success in the past. They've done moderately well. You know, like the Amazing Spider-Man was really, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is really their greatest downfall. And Amazing, and you know, in Spider-Man 3, it was okay. It just wasn't that great. But you know, if you ask me, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, great movies. Amazing Spider-Man, I thought it was really good. I mean, it had some great things in it. For me, it had more good than bad in it. But I do think Sony will focus on, you know, and spend a lot more time and attention making a great Spider-Man film. And part of the reason I believe that is some of the things that were revealed in this thing, where you know the guy was saying that they didn't. Kevin Feige didn't make those movies on his own. Sure, he was the producer and he was overseeing everything, but I'm sure Sony still had some sort of input into it, and I'm sure they had some of the creatives that were there helping, monitoring, or just learning from Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios in general. So I completely have that trust in them to do that. Like I said, Sony pretty much they were one of the studios, and put out some of the films that helped build the foundation to what we got right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So while they have had shortcomings in the past, most definitely, I think that I think you know I put my trust in them to, you know, pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and you know maybe wipe the shoulder of Kevin Feige for a little while, and you know maybe make some great films. Now I also just do think that at the same time, while they don't have a working, won't be having a working relationship necessarily, I still have a feeling that they might look to Kevin Feige for some advice on things that they should, could, and will do in their films to maybe help keep the quality up, but also something that, to not ruin the quality of the movies that they're going to have, and to the point to where it wouldn't take it out of a continuity kind of thing, where they might still be able to jump back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe if negotiations ever come to that point to where they're going to work together again. So then they don't ruin it, because we all know that Kevin Feige is very particular about his properties and what's going on. You know, he wants to have ultimate control and oversight over everything that they're doing. And I've got to say, I can't blame him for that, because we can see just kind of the quality of the films that he has helped produce, and you know, just like his particular, you know, just everything that he looks for in making some of these great Marvel movies. But again, you know, like I said, until Sony actually makes a movie and does something bad, I'm gonna I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, because hopefully, once again, hopefully they have actually learned from any shortcomings that they've had in the past. And and by the way, at the time, those weren't shortcomings. You know, at the time, those weren't shortcomings. Like Spider-Man 3, you know, at the time, you know, a lot of people obviously didn't like it for various reasons. But I mean, we call them shortcomings now, you know. But back then, you know, I mean, people were still amazed and still enjoyed the films. Well, obviously, we would still pick at them. Um, but yeah, like I said, I trust in him. Maverick Pilgrim says, "Yep, I'm over at the den a lot." Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I believe Maverick Pilgrim, you're also a Patreon supporter of the Den of Nerds as well. Joseph Lennon, welcome to the live stream. Yeah, that's how I found your channel, from the Den of Nerds. Well, thank you. Yeah, and like I said, Josh over there at the Den of Nerds is very awesome. I know in a couple of like the Patreon live streams, he's mentioned me and things like that, and even in a couple other videos, you know, I've gotten a couple of shout outs, you know, and I do truly appreciate that. Like I said, they're definitely a channel that I really enjoy. They're doing some great things over there. Josh has some things in the works. I don't want to speak on any of them, because that's not my place to do that. But he has some things that he's got going on in the works, and some of you guys out there know exactly what I'm talking about. That he has in the works that I'm excited and I want to be a part of. And there's some other people out there as well that I think could be that I would like to talk to as things progress in that, and you know, maybe going forward. So to maybe get involved in some of the things that they've got getting ready to ramp up and get going over there at the Den of Nerds. Maverick Pilgrim says the Raimi Spider-Man films were made back when you only made trilogies. There wasn't a successful franchise to speak of other than James Bond. I think that's the sadness in losing Spider-Man. Yeah, you're right, and And actually, because that was when they made trilogies, they were still actually shooting for that fourth film. They had ones that they wanted to do and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, it seems like even for a lot of franchises that going beyond, I mean, three movies is quite the challenge. Let alone going into four, five, or anything like that. And plus, when it comes to a character like Spider-Man, he's a teenage kid, and you see him kind of growing up through life. It gets kind of hard when you find somebody like a Tom Holland. You can only do so many Spider-Man movies while he's a teenager, as you know that he's not even a teenager now. I mean, he's a young man and he's growing up. So you got to kind of show that progression, and how long are you going to show that progression? Now, the thing I think would be cool, something they could very well do. Is play on the fact of something they actually did recently in Marvel Comics, which would be the Spider-Man life story, which was a really great series that just came to an end last week, and which is where we basically seen Peter Parker as he aged through time, from when he was a 15-year-old kid that got bit by the spider back in the 60s, all the way through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and even the 2010s, is where the series left off. And excuse me, I thought it was an absolutely great series, and it's something that maybe they should play on. Obviously, you'd almost have to a little bit more in their universe, because like I said, these people, once they get to a certain point, you can't. Well, you can only make Tom Holland look so young for so long. You know what I mean? Before you have to give into the fact, like, okay, he's not a teenager anymore, and he's not a young man in his 20s anymore, because you got to show some sort of progression, because if he's by his 30s and he's still having the same problems that he had when he was a teenager and in his 20s, you got to wonder, how is this dude a superhero? Right? So I think it's definitely something that they could play on. But yeah, you're right. And speaking of like successful franchises, I mean, that's one of the hardest things in the world to do. It's not easy, and that's why I think all of us applaud and look to Lord Feige, for what he has done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because what he has done is by all means something that's never been done before, and something that is definitely not easy to do. And it's got to make me wonder, just like some of these things that were in this interview about Kevin Feige and him having a full plate with all of these characters. And that's why I was kind of against the whole Fox Disney merger thing also, is because once you get all of them, once you got all of them, you're like the sole distributor of all of these films. Whereas when they're in separate studios, each studio can have their input on it. Each studio can work on something separately. It's all different concepts, and then you can get more than Marvel Studios is going to do with having just like 2 movies in a year or 3 movies in a year. You can get multiple movies by multiple different studios within a year. Now, at one point, you could also even argue that at some point you're going to get oversaturation with all these superhero flicks. But sometimes I hear this argument, and I get it. Like, we can be oversaturated. Is there superhero burnout? And the thing is yeah, I'm sure at some point there is. I mean, but I mean, you got to look at a lot of the other genres of films there are out there. There's horror films. Horror seems to be making a bigger comeback these days. Comedies have been around forever, and it seems like they're kind of in a lull right now, because just the current climate of our society, where everything's so offensive. Everyone's so offended. You can't be funny and say something funny, Dave Chappelle, right? And that's the thing is, all these things continue on. So is there gonna be superhero burnout? Maybe some people are going to get burnt out or anything like that. But anybody who's like the true nerds, we're gonna be around. We're gonna be watching. We're gonna be maybe we're gonna be watching, even if you don't support it. I mean, support it in the fact of that you watched a movie and after that you're like, oh man, I'm done with this. You're still going out there to support it and watch it in a way so you can have something to say about it. And I think that's the one of the ultimate something important. Like I said, there might be a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of burnout, but are they going to go? Are these movies going to go anywhere? I honestly don't think so. Not anywhere in the near future. And are they ever going to be unsuccessful? I'm sure there's going to be some that aren't going to be quite so successful as well. I mean, like, look at Shazam. Shazam was a great movie. I thought it was a great movie. good family movie, but yeah, it didn't have quite the success that a lot of people believe that it deserves. And take a look at Hellboy. It's another prime example. Now that's one I haven't actually seen, the new Hellboy. One I haven't actually seen, so I can't speak to whether it's good, bad, or or anywhere in between. But we can see that not all movies are going to be successful. You can even look at the range of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and the success that they have had. I know some of the ones that a lot of people like to point out are Ant-Man and the Wasp, and even the first Ant-Man movie, as being some of the ones that aren't as successful. They haven't brought in quite the same amount of money or anything like that. And to which I've got to say, like that's part of the thing. Just because one of these movies don't make as much or anything, it's not as big of a at the box office as some of the others, doesn't mean that they're not good movies or that people are burnt out or anything. It just might be that some people are waiting to see it at home. Some people don't know about the character. Some people don't care about the character or any other the other biases they may have. But in case you guys don't know, I've still never done my ranking list. I need to do a MCU ranking list. Um, but the Ant-Man films are some of my favorites. There's some of my favorites out there in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Paul Rudd is does I mean I love Paul Rudd. He's an absolutely great actor. He can man, I'm telling you, this dude can do just about anything, man. And in those movies that he did, he brings a lot to those roles. And even in Captain America: Civil War, when he was in that, I'm telling you, every single scene that I remember seeing him in, he stole the scene. He's absolutely great. I mean, even in the little scene when they're on raft, he still stole the scene. He's sitting there saying, he's like, yeah, what was he said? Pim always said, never trust a start. And he was like, who are you? He's like, oh, just great stuff. I'm telling you. So yeah, but overall, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, I'm not overly disappointed that Spider-Man in the MCU will no longer be in the MCU going forward for the foreseeable future. And again, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's probably it may be a good thing, but it's just something we're gonna have to wait out and see where that goes. Sorry, do I got some lens flares there? Am I going JJ here? There we go. How about that? That looks a lot better if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, like I said, let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. Maverick Pilgrim says, we finally have a Spider-Man in a bigger Marvel world, but Spider-Man can stand on his own. It can still be good. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. He's got the whole rogues gallery of villains. He's got all kinds, and there's all kinds of other people that they can bring in for to help make build a good universe for Spider-Man. Still, now is it nice for him to be in that larger world? Yes, because I think now I don't think the Avengers need him, but I think the MCU needs him as well, and not need to the point where they can't make great movies without him or anything, but I think it's just more beneficial when all of them are together. And that's why I think all these studios, had they ever stayed separate, why they could just scrap what they were doing and start over again, and all continue to work together to build the world, so each studio can be doing their own different thing, and Kevin Feige don't have to see it all, where they would still look to him for advice while not being directly in charge of the production and seeing what's going on. Maybe just tips like, okay, like, maybe they come to him, run ideas like, oh, I want to do this. Okay, like, everything's cool, just don't do these certain things, so then we can, work on a collaboration later and do some things like that. And which I think would make a lot of sense. Lord Callus, welcome to the live stream, my brother. I hope you're having a very good day today. Now, uh, let's see. Maverick Pilgrim says, yeah, this is pretty much Sony's only real moneymaker. I don't think they will screw anything up this time around. And yeah, and he really is one of their bigger moneymakers. And speaking of that, him being one of their moneymakers, another one of the things I do want to say as far as my trust in Sony to hopefully carry forward and do something good. And obviously the video games have really little to do with the movies or anything, but the Spider-Man game that released on PS4 last year. Was that last year? Man, it seems like it's so long ago. Was an absolutely great video game. The story and everything, and it was good as video games go. So hopefully they've learned from just from the video game and everything that they've learned from Kevin Feige to do something good with their next venture into solo Spider-Man films. Like I said, until you let me down, I'm gonna be on board, and even if you let me down, I'll probably still be on board. I wasn't done. I wasn't done after Amazing Spider-Man 2. I wasn't done. I wasn't done after Spider-Man 3. I still went. I've seen all these movies in theaters. They're like I said, but I love Spider-Man though, so I guess that might be the difference for me as compared to a lot of other people. But yeah, I think they could still do it and be successful. Um, Maverick Pilgrim says they could do a lot with Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and the whole Spider Verse. Honestly, and that's the truth. The only thing is, at some point, we'll get villains and things like that. Like they still only have so many villains when they're doing that larger MCU or that larger Spider-Man world, where you have Miles Morales, where you have Gwen Stacy, and all of those different versions of Spider-Man. You've still only got X amount of villains, but you do have great villains to play with there. So I think that's the ultimate thing, is where it would have to be something like in the comics, where maybe instead of defeating the bad guy, maybe you capture the bad guy, he escapes, things like that. Something with not so much finality, that like we've got with some of the villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that would be something important for them to work on, so they don't end up running out of villains to have in their movies, necessarily. Aggressively reaction says Sony's leadership has not changed, but to be fair, they are now bad at making movies and have all the added pressure to live up to the MCU. Yes, and I agree. I agree with you there. I'm not in a, I don't disagree with that at all. They do have the pressure there, and that's the thing. Like, wow, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people need to realize, like, Kevin Feige. You could say he is the MCU. Like, he's the foundation to which a lot of these things have been built. But there have been other great movies out there that have been made that are not in the MCU now. Now, are they the same quality? Are they the same types? Not necessarily. I mean, but that's the thing, is, living up to the MCU, is, do they have to? Do they have to live up to that high MCU caliber? And that would be hard, because they have all the characters and all those kinds of things. And that's why I think it would be wise for them to continue to do whatever they can to continue to try to play ball with the MCU, so they can continue on that success that they've had going forward. Russell Wells Benjamin says Shazam dropped the ball in my opinion. Had some funny moments, but I feel like the villains were cheesy. Uh, yeah, the villain. I mean, I don't know. I kind of liked. I mean, I liked the villain in there. I like how they did. I even actually liked a lot of like some of the CG, like with the bad guys. With the sins, and how they looked all gory and it was kind of scary. I did like that, but altogether it was a fun and entertaining movie. Shazam was a fun and entertaining movie. I definitely can't go as far as saying that it was a bad movie. It was fun and entertaining. Could have been better. Yes, it definitely could have been better, but for what it was, I really did enjoy it, because it was just like just a fun family movie. And even if you don't have a family, it was something that I think that you could really get into and enjoy. And as far as I know, it held pretty true to the comic books, as far as I know. I'm not really into Shazam or anything, but I do know a couple of people who really are. And maybe I can get one of those people here onto the show one of these days. That definitely does. But I think they nailed it with Shazam. But again, I mean, he's pretty much standalone in the movie. He wasn't part of a larger universe, even though they did tie some things in there with the Superman bit, and just some of the other mentions that they have in there. The little Aquaman shirt and stuff like that. So while he was in a standalone film, I like what they did by just kind of putting those things in there without actually tying to it, which I think was something kind of important for them. Nerdy Blurb TV, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Nerdy Blurb TV says, I thought the villains were better than Wonder Woman's villains. Yeah, and sometimes I think that that might just come down to the CG rendering on that, because I thought Ares was pretty cool. Just they didn't really do a whole lot to develop that villain or anything like that. And that's the other thing, is when it comes to developing villains on screen, is you got to kind of you've got to do more. You got to do more to it, and that's why people were talking about this Joker movie coming out, and being upset, that there's no hero in it, and how you're trying to making the bad guy sympathetic. You like get people to feel sorry for him. That's an important thing, though. Just because you get the audience to maybe sympathize with him doesn't mean that they have to take sides with him. But making them sympathetic to where like you understand their plight and you understand what their aim is, and then just but in the end doesn't justify the means. Whatever their plan is, it doesn't justify the means going out and doing evil deeds. And I think that's one of the important things when you do these villains is you make sure that like okay, like you get people to realize like, oh man, like this guy is actually trying to do something good here, but just the way he's going about it is completely wrong. It's I think I was mentioning this just the other day is something my mother always said when I was growing up is the path to hell is paved with good intentions. And if you don't know what that means a lot of people out there intend to do good things, but somewhere along the way in on their path of doing these good things, they justify a lot of bad things to get that end result. So yeah. Let's see here. Where did it go here? I'm tired of the monopoly that Warner Brothers has on DC characters. They should let Sony make a Batman movie. Oh, aggressively relaxing. You make me laugh, dude. If you guys are here on the channel and you haven't ever been to Aggressively Relaxing's channel, you guys need to go check out his videos. It's absolutely great stuff. Does these great radio parodies, and yeah, just good stuff. But they should make a Batman movie. Now that I don't know. That I don't know. Maybe not the Batman. I don't know. I mean, they got Robert Pattinson, so you might as well, right? That's how some people feel about it. I thought Shazam was fun, but overall it was a little heavy-handed on the cheese. It was, and you know what? I don't have a problem with that, as long as the film knows what it is. I like cheesy. Cheesy can be a good thing. Cheesy can let you know that while this movie is being serious, we don't take it so serious that we're not willing to laugh at ourselves. But I do understand what you mean, a little heavy-handed on the cheese. But I think they did that partially in the fact of a lot of the things that were going on in the movie. It was obviously a movie about family, surrogate families, and things like that. So I think a lot of it played really well into the overall narrative of the film. But overall, yeah, I mean, if you're going for just like your regular, your regular, how would you say, like maybe cookie cutter kind of, your regular template for doing a superhero film, it doesn't follow that. And I think that's kind of a good thing because, like, if you ask me, I think Aquaman went pretty heavy on the cheese as well, because like the whole beginning scenes, where Aquaman's coming onto onto the submarine and he lands, does a superhero landing, he flops his hair back, he's looking all hot, and he turns and says, "Permission to come aboard." And then he grabs that steel door off of the thing, and he's using it like it's Captain America's shield. He's chucking it around. I'm like, dude, this is like I don't know, it's cheese, but it was great. It was great cheese. You gotta have good cheese. You gotta have good cheese if you're gonna do it. So yeah, let's see. That's a low bar. That's still a low bar. Yeah, aggressively relaxing. I would be down with a DC studio swap. Yeah, I mean, they need to do something because, like I said, when one studio has control of everything, if they've got this big catalog of characters, just like Marvel was spread out through different studios. I mean, it's better. I think it's good. It's not bad if they're spread through different studios, but it's better if all these studios will work together to bring characters together to make a better quality film. And unfortunately, it's just something that's so hard for a company to really want to do because nobody wants to give up control of their characters or let somebody else oversee it or anything like, oh, well, it's our character. Why should we let you? I mean, again, it comes down to business, and that's while it is probably best that they're all under the same banner, I think it's also good too, so we get different views on it too. And I mean, it would almost be better if like Sony was allowed to make theirs, or Sony went, well, they're not allowed, they own the character, but Sony did their Spider-Man thing, and then they also did crossover movies, and they don't even have to be crossover movies. They just said, okay, like Kevin Feige, you can go ahead and use Spider-Man in your films and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, we still want to have a contract, make some money and stuff on it too, as well, since it's our character, but we can keep these worlds separate, and we'll still allow you to use our characters. The DC villains have been terrible. Look at Doomsday. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, and the one thing that I will give DC when it comes to their villains is the one thing I've liked is they haven't been afraid to go ahead and go full on out, giving us full CG villains and just things like that. They've taken some risks that I think are important. Some of the risks that Marvel Studios hasn't taken, and I think Marvel Studios has learned from and kind of built upon as well. So, and I think that's part of the reason why it's good to have different versions of these characters, of these movies, and things like that. So we're not getting all the same thing. Um, and I think that's something that's important. Nerdy Blur says, don't get me started. Doomsday was a massive disappointment. Yeah, yeah. Lex 2, yes. Um, let's see where we at here. Give Sony DC 100% and let them give Spider-Man back to Marvel. Yeah, something. Uh, Wookiee Lives Matter. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for so much for being here. And yeah, Seven Dust. Yeah, one of my dude. I love Seven Dust, man. Ever since their first album came out, I've absolutely loved Seven Dust. And maybe I'll go ahead and talk about them on the Trailer Park Live tonight. But yeah, Seven Dust, great band. I've seen them. Oh man, what 5, 6 times? No, no, no. I think I've probably seen them like 7 or 8 times. Great band, great band. And I don't think I've ever met anybody in the group neither, which is kind of surprising. Normally, when I go to concerts, I run across somebody out in the crowds. Nerdy Blurb TV says, I think people need to separate MCU with other films and franchises. Yeah, yeah, and I agree. Agreed. Maverick Pilgrim says, my biggest issue is Wonder Woman's display of World War One. It not a less technologically advanced World War Two. They didn't even get the tanks right. Just kind of lazy in my opinion. And yeah, and that's something that obviously when it comes to it could have been time and production, could have been the editor, it could have been the continuity person in charge of continuity. I guess that would be one of their editors in the end. But yeah, I mean, and I get that. And now at the same time, while they were doing a timepiece, I think that's the challenging thing about making like timepieces like that, where you're going back into a vintage time, is getting everything 100% accurate. And I think at times, they probably shoot something and they're like we just gotta let it slide, hopefully people don't notice it and tear us down for it. And I think that's definitely something to look at, especially when you're doing a period piece like that. Definitely looking into things like that. Like, don't think for a second when I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I wasn't looking for stuff, there in the background, like looking for cars, looking for things like that. And don't think that when Joker comes out, it looks like it's taking place in like a 70s type of world. People are going to be looking at that same kind of stuff as well. So, yeah, agreed. In Shazam, there's another hero versus a villain with same powers. I'm kind of burnt out on origin films. Yeah, now I get you. I get what you're saying. Now the origin thing, I gotta say, I think that's important. When building the character, getting people to care about the character. I mean, it's just the same thing as in comic books. Coming out with number ones. You've got to introduce these characters. You've got to do what you can to get people invested in these characters, caring about these characters, in order to get the audience really invested in these characters. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's definitely not an easy thing to do. And I think that's one of the bigger points that was phase one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was, and something that's going to be definitely important with the Disney Plus streaming service coming in, is establishing those characters, introducing them, and getting us invested in them before they put them into the MCU. Unfortunately, we are going to be getting characters that you may not care about, that I may not care about, or just things like that. I know a lot of people have had some pushback with Miss Marvel. Honestly, I've never read Miss Marvel, or the Kamala Khan version of Miss Marvel ever, and I think I probably read an issue or two of Miss Marvel when it was Carol Danvers as well. So, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you mean about origin films, but I guess really you don't need an origin film so much as you need to make sure that you at least nail down the origins of the character and get people invested in them. In the movies when you make them. So I think it's kind of hard to do a movie without like at least giving somewhat of their origins in the film. Obviously, I mean, because that's what makes them the character they are. Nerdy Blur says, I honestly think that Wonder Woman is too hyped for its own good. B movie at best. Being lazy about history was only a small part. You are right though. Yeah, and I agree. Now I think Wonder Woman, I'm not sure that Wonder Woman was overhyped. I think it was a really great movie. And it was probably overhyped for a lot of reasons. I mean, obviously, we got like the like the feminism in it, women empowerment and stuff like that. I have no problems with that. They had Patty Jenkins directing it. It was a female character. She lived on the island with a bunch of females and all that stuff. So there's that kinds of stuff there that people are going to praise it for in the first place. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I thought it was a really well made movie. Now I do also know that some people, they want to compare it to Captain Marvel and this and that and these other female characters. Like to really to make those kind of comparisons to me is pretty silly, and it doesn't need to be done. Um, but other than that, as far as a B movie at best, yeah, I think it was a good movie. Was it the best? No, but I think it was definitely one of those. I think one of the other things, the hype about that film, it was definitely Warner Brothers and DC's stepping stone to making better quality films, to getting something a little more right than they have done in the past. I think that's one of the important things to recognize about the Wonder Woman movie. Um, as well as Aquaman and Shazam as well. They're slowly building it, and they're getting there, and they're not afraid of being a little bit slapsticky, a little bit cheesy, and I think that's definitely a good thing because it's okay to not be serious all the time. In Shazam, it was another hero. Okay, I already read that. Um, we say, well, too bad because the Origins are going to saturate the market for the next 4 years. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think as far as like things with like the Disney Plus streaming service, they will be. They will be definitely. Kermit the Log, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Now, in case you guys don't know, I don't see him here in the chat, but Kermit the Log and Snowdub on Saturday evenings. I believe it's on Saturday evenings. Do a show called The Bigot and the Ribbit. You guys should go check it out. They invited me to come on and do their live stream with them this Saturday, and you'll probably see me there on the Bigot and Ribbit show, just having fun. And there's some funny dudes. You guys should definitely go check them out and subscribe for a little while and see if you like their content. They're just silly guys, man, having some fun, while also not being so silly about some of the things too, because we all have feelings and we all have strong feelings when it comes to some things. But these guys like to have a lot of fun, and I can't wait till we get into that on Saturday. Kermit the Log says, I like cheesy too. Shazam was pretty good, a little bit overrated. Now I'm not sure if it was overrated. I mean, it depends on who it is, really. But I thought it was a good film. As far as overrated, I'm not so sure. I mean, I think they tried to build hype for it more than it was, just to get people to go out and see it. Because overall, it was a really great film and a good family film as well. Um, so I'll give you that much, definitely. Aggressively Relaxed says, most sympathetic villains can be summed up by the dude in The Big Lebowski. You're not wrong, Killmonger. You're just an asshole. Okay, aggressively relaxing truisms that makes you chuckle, but you're absolutely right. That's good. You're not wrong, Killmonger. You're just an asshole. Oh, aggressively relaxing, man. I love you, dude. You're great. You make me laugh, man. Oh, I got such a great, just such great viewers and subscribers and stuff, man. You all are awesome, dude. I love each and every one of you. Great stuff. Um, let's see. It's okay if you wanna f Aquaman. I know. Come on, it's Jason Momoa, right? Like I'm not gonna be a hater just because a dude's a good-looking guy and women are flocking towards him and want to go see this movie at the theater, and then all of a sudden they turn around and slam him because on Instagram he posted a picture where his abs weren't popping. Man, shame on you, people. Shame on you. Life's too short for bad cheese. Yes, bad cheese. Yes, I'll definitely give you that. And 19K Fox, welcome. I'm pretty sure I already said hi, but thank you for being here. Um, Maverick 100% agreed on Wonder Woman blunders and the played out origin stories playing out the mirror villain scenario. Yeah, and like I said, I do see that, and those are things that like hopefully like we while we have those feelings, let's not carry them too much. Let's not rest on those things like too much because I think sometimes we take some of the things that happen and we it sets in the back of our mind and we linger on it and we stew and chew on it, and it ends up becoming something that we get angry about, like that person that snaps, it just built up for too long. air it out there, let it be known. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having criticisms of movies or anything like that. But yeah, I understand. I understand that. Wookie Lives Matter says I've always loved Wonder Woman. Can't wait for the Gal Gadot sequel. Yeah, you know, and I like the Wonder Woman movie. I like what they did. Now, as far as Gal Gadot is concerned, beautiful woman. She is very beautiful. Talented. Yeah, she's talented. But for me, they got lucky in Wonder Woman because Patty Jenkins played to all her strengths in the movie. If you ask me, she's not a great actress by in any sort of way. Now, does that mean she's terrible? Not at all. I just think that she don't have enough depth, range, and depth in her acting chops to pull off a lot of other things. And I think that's one of the good things that was great about her being in this movie and teamed up with Patty Jenkins is she played to her strengths, and hopefully she is doing other things to kind of get her acting chops out there. Because like I'm not trying to be mean about this, but look at like John Cena. And John Cena, he's taken steps to improve his acting as well. But you can see, like, he's like he could probably carry a movie, but it really depends what kind of movie that you want him to carry. Is it going to be a comedy? Go watch Blockers. Can he carry it? No. He got lucky that Leslie Mann is there. People were talking about him coming in to play like the next Captain America and everything, like John Walker and all that stuff. Now, can he do that? I don't think so. I don't think he's there yet. Could he play the great action hero and stuff like that? Yes. But can he do some of the dramatic things that are going to be required of that role? I don't think so. Just like Gal Gadot, beautiful woman, she's talented, but I don't think she has the depth of acting chops to be able to bring a whole lot more to the screen unless she's improved some of that. And she hasn't really been in a whole lot since to prove that. So hopefully she's just been working on her craft, which is obviously something very important for an actor. And I believe she was a model before she started being an actor as well. So, I mean, she definitely probably knows some of the things she can do, but a lot of it, when it comes down to being a great actor, some of it, I mean, just comes down to just little micro expressions that one makes and just different little nuances and line deliveries and things like that that I think she definitely needs to work on. But again, I think obviously she's a beautiful lady, talented, and hopefully she does grow in her acting as we get into the next Wonder Woman film. I'm hoping it's a bit better because she seems a bit stiff. I guess that's really what it is for the most part. Like she seems like the first Wonder Woman it played great because she was just kind of playing like a naive Wonder Woman. She's kind of a little bit naive to the world and how it is, and I think that played to her advantage as an actress. I think it played to her as an actress. Aggressively says, I got to meet Seven Dust on the shoot for their music video Praise. They were really cool. Yeah, oh man, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And yeah, I could imagine like they are like there's some of the coolest dudes out there, and you know what? They're working artists. You know what I mean? They go out there, they're touring constantly, they're banging out albums, and now their last few albums, while they're not their best work, they're progressing and they're still putting out music and they're still putting out great music. And that's the thing. That's something I think is important is like can they continuously putting out the great quality music that they have been. And I think they have. For me, I think they have. Like I said, it's not always going to be good. Not everything is going to be good when you're pumping out a lot of content like they are. But like it's not always going to be great, I guess you could say, because it's still good. Kermit says, "Can't wait to have you on Saturday." Yeah, I can't wait to be there, man. Like I said, you guys absolutely you crack me up, and I'm gonna see if I can bring a little something for the show to make it a little bit more fun. Kermit says, "I do videos with stand-up jokes. Can I use that joke in a video and I will give you credit for it?" Oh yeah, awesome. Kermit says, "All right, gotta go see it in a half hour." Oh, nice. I'm not really. I haven't seen the first It, so I can't go to see the second one. But yeah, enjoy that, man. I've heard it was pretty good. Kobe movie reviews. Thank you so much for being here. Aggressively relaxing says, I don't mind in the least bit, Kermit. If you like that, check out my other terrible jokes on my channel. Yes, go check out his terrible jokes on his channel. I'm telling you, you will find out how terrible they are because he's absolutely great. hilarious stuff. I love Aggressively Relaxing's channel. And any of you guys out here, I think most of you guys here in the comments are content creators. Go check each other's channels out, man. A lot of these dudes do great content. Like this morning, I just shared one on Twitter of a video of a creator that I absolutely like. I don't even know how I found this guy, but he's absolutely hilarious. Probably through Nerdy Blurb TV. Ryan over there, man. Ryan over there. You got a great nerd community going on too, dude. You should be like, to me, Nerdy Blurb TV should be the next Den of Nerds. That guy that goes from being small to all of a sudden just like blowing up, because he's building a great catalog of creators and collaborations and things as well. But go check out my Twitter. I shared a video by a guy, a channel, this guy Ryan over at What Were You Watching? And he did this great review on the movie Stay Tuned, but you guys gotta go see his reviews. He's not doing those same boring movie reviews that you see out of everybody else. We're like, hey guys, here's this movie. I watched it and it was okay, and here's what I liked about. He's not even doing, and he's certainly doing stuff that's very creative with his movie reviews. I love it, absolutely love it. You guys need to go check it out. What Were You Watching? Here on YouTube. He should be in my subscriptions. If you go check that out, maybe I'll bump him to the top. I got to go through there. I finally figured out how to do some of that, so I can get some of my brothers put up on there. But go check out What Were You Watching, or check out a recent review for Stay Tuned. If you don't know what Stay Tuned was, it was a TV show or a movie from, God, I want to say it might have been the early '90s with John Ritter and, oh man, who's the guy, the principal from you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that guy. Ooh, didn't that guy get arrested for like child porn or something? Yeah, that's totally different subject. But he did this movie review on Stay Tuned. Hilarious stuff. You guys have to check out What Were You Watching? Funny stuff. Let's see, gotta run. Have a great weekend. You have a great weekend too, Maverick Pilgrim. Thank you so much for being here. I'm getting ready to tune out myself. It's 9 o'clock already. We've already been going for an hour, man. This has been a short hour. 19K Fox says, you're right, Patty Jenkins. She had I can't read all of a sudden. She had all the actresses mimic Gal Gadot's accent, making it out to be an Amazonian accent. Hey, that works. If that's true, I mean, it works. You know, it worked. Because again, I thought the movie was good. I mean, could it have been better? Sure. Yeah, it could have been better. Was it terrible? No, not at all. It was a good movie. And let's see. Tommy, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Got here a little bit late, but that's okay. You can always go back and rewatch some of the things that I had to say here about the Spider-Man being done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Aggressively says, I want Gal Gadot to be the female mouse in a Rescuers sequel. Man, I haven't. God, the Rescuers. Have I seen that? I certainly know. I'm not sure if I've ever actually seen that movie. I don't know. Tommy says, Lord Callus, I think I may have upset someone over lightsaber theory. What? I'm not even gonna ask. Nerdy Blurb says, calm yourself, man. Second Street is talking nonsense. Wait, Nerdy Blurb is trying to keep up, but what you were watching honestly needs to be the next big thing. No, Nerdy Blurb TV. You need to be the next big. To me, you are the big thing. You are the big thing. I know you've certainly helped me out a lot. You're an absolutely awesome guy, awesome content creator, who is actually out there helping boost other content creators, making us seem better than we really are. But I've got to tell you, he's not wrong when What Were You Watching is absolutely great. The guy is doing he's doing skits. He's like doing skits with his movie reviews, because they're not like I said, they're not your boring movie review where the guy's just sitting down saying, hey, I'm reviewing this movie. Like, go watch my probably my best and favorite movie review I've done was my one for Dragon Ball Z Super. Like, that's probably my favorite one, kind of most creative one. But he takes that, like, stuff like that, and blows it out of the water. Absolutely great stuff. You got to go check out What Were You Watching. Hilarious stuff. And I'll see. I know I've shared some of his stuff on Twitter before. I'll go share some more. I know I just shared his video this morning. Absolutely great stuff. You need to go check him out. You need to go, like I said, go check out any of these other content creators here in the live stream. Like my brother, Lord Callus. He very, very good and very knowledgeable in Star Wars and the EU as well. So you should definitely go check out his videos. Check out his channel. Subscribe to him. Kermit the Log makes some funny videos. He did, God, what was it, A Nightmare on Frog Street? Absolutely great stuff. Aggressively Relaxing does these great parody, Marvel, like FM radio parodies about the Marvel universe as far as comics is concerned. Obviously we can see Kobe movie reviews. Obviously, probably reviews movies. I don't think I've checked you out before, Kobe. I'm gonna have to go check out your channel, or maybe I have, and I just maybe I don't have notifications turned on, and I need to check out more. But I'll have to check him out. Never heard of him. Yeah. Oh yeah. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Seriously, everyone should subscribe to what were you watching? They should, man. They should. I'm telling you, what were you watching? He's very creative with his stuff, and just absolutely just a funny dude. And you could like he's doing some funny stuff over there, and it was great too because I was sitting there watching his review this morning, and I happened to see some other content creators pop up in it, or he popped up in their content or something. It was really great seeing Ryan and Nerdy Blurb TV on there, as well as a couple other content creators. Hilarious stuff. You got to go check out his channel, check out his content. Let him know that I sent you, because I love this dude and the content he's working on. But overall, I guess that's all I have for this video today, folks. For this live stream, talking about Spider-Man and his future in the MCU. It looks like it pretty much looks like it's official now that it is over for the time being. I'm not sad about it. Are you sad about it? Let me know down in the comments below what you think about that. Or you might have to go back to comment on this video later, because nobody's gonna see it after we're live. You know what I mean? And you can go through and scroll through all the live things. But yeah, definitely. And you can reach out to me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or anything like that. Share your feelings. Let me know how you feel about those things. Now, before I do go, I also want to let you guys know I do have some links down in the description where you can go and donate here to the channel. You can donate directly via Streamlabs, or you can even become a monthly Patreon supporter, which I would greatly appreciate as well. Over there, I want to get my Patreon supporters. I want to get their input and things like that, and probably do some content for certain people too as well. There's different tiers there that we're going to work on. It's just something I'm kind of working on for people who want to. I'm not a monetized channel, so just doing anything I can. Make a couple bucks for making some content, creating my content. Also, it helps. Any of the money will help me improve things. Like I said, buying a bigger green screen, buying some better lighting. Hopefully I can be able to afford to go out and see some more movies, to do some more movie reviews, and even get some more widen my selection of comic books to bring reviews to you all for that thing. Again, thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed. Click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. It also sends you out notifications anytime I plan on doing a live video. And in case you don't know, tonight I will be doing a Trailer Park Live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure that you check your local listings. But if you could also do me one other favor, make sure you share this video with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you tonight on the Trailer Park Live. Later. And in case you guys don't know, Ryan over at Nerdy Blurb TV, he created this intro and outro that I use in every single one of my videos, and you guys should go check him out. There is a link to his channel down in the description of this video and all of my videos, where you can go check out Ryan over at Nerdy Blurb TV. He is an awesome content creator, and this dude bends over backwards for other content creators and helping them out, helping them grow, and helping us grow as content creators. Ryan is an awesome dude. You guys should definitely go check him out. You all have a very, very good day.